So hello my dear students, today we are going to start our next illustration of chapter number 1, that is illustration number 12. So as we all know, we are going to complete the CA Inter batch from our ICS study material, and language will be 100% English language, okay? Those students who want to understand this lecture in the Hindi and English language, so the link of that batch is in the description below, okay? Please watch that. Now, illustration number 12. So basically student, this illustration is about the method of partial integration method. What happens in that method? We all know that agricultural income is exempt income. Yeah, but student, in case if agricultural income, that is the net agricultural income, is more than rupees 5,000 per annum. I am saying about for the complete year, that is 5,000 rupees, more than 5,000 per annum, and the non-agricultural income exceeds the basic exemption limit. Okay, so in what way we are going to calculate this exempted income and all? So we have to integrate a partial integration method in the question. Okay, so that is about the illustration number 12. Now let's come on this. First of all, students, I told you that when partial integration method will be followed, so this method will be applied if the net agricultural income means the gross agricultural less all the expenses related to that agricultural income. Okay, net agricultural income is more than rupees 5,000 per annum plus the second cumulative condition. It means both the conditions should be satisfied. So the non-agricultural income, like the income from salary, income from house property, income from capital gain and all, it must be more than the basic exemption limit. So in that case, partial integration method will be applied. Now let's see how this method is going to be applied. Okay. So illustration number 12, Mr. X, a resident, has provided the following particulars of his income for the previous year 2023-24. First, income from salary computed. Computed means that we are not that all the deductions have already been provided, like the deduction, standard deduction of section number 16 and all. So we are not required to deduct any expenditure now. Income from house property, which is also computed. Agricultural income from a land in Jaipur, 4,80,000, and expenses incurred for earning that agricultural income is 1,70,000. Now student, whenever there is a point for the income tax, okay, so we are not going to see about the turnover. We always see, we apply the tax on the taxable income, that is on the profit. Okay, so in this case also, we are going to take the net agricultural income for checking that whether the partial integration method will be applied or not. Okay, so net agricultural income in this question is 4,80,000 minus 1,70,000. That is a 3,10,000 rupees. How does it come? Because all the expenses will be minus related to that income. Okay. Okay, so our first condition satisfied, that the non-agricultural agricultural income is more than rupees 5,000 per annum, and as we can see, income from salary, income from house property, that is a non-agricultural income, exceeds the basic exemption limit, so partial integration method will be applied. Compute his tax liability for assessment year 24-25. Assuming his age is 45 years and 70 years. I am doing this question related to 45 years, that is a normal person. Then next part will be of over, that is of the 70 years. Okay, now let's do it. So here are some basic steps which you have to apply whenever you are going to do the question of the partial integration method. And I can assure you, if you follow these particular steps, so you are going to do the question 100% correctly, and it's my assurance to you. Okay, but you have to apply these steps, and I am going to tell you. Now let's do it. This one. First of all, we have to compute the taxable income. We have to compute the taxable income. Now this taxable income is the normal taxable income, like income from salary plus income from house property. Then add the agricultural income, but give the deduction, that is deduction under section 10 clause number 1. Okay, so let's do in this question, compute the taxable income. Okay, students, I am not making pro forma here because I know we have already covered the illustration number 1 to 11 in the previous lecture, and I have told you that how pro forma is going to be done. Okay, so now we are going to do the straight question so that we can save our time also. First, income from salary. Okay, income from salary. How much it is? It is 4,80,000 rupees. 4,80,000 rupees. Then, income from house property, 2,50,000. Okay, write down 2,50,000. Then, the income from agricultural income. Now, how much agricultural income you are going to take here, student? 4,80,000 minus 1,70,000. That is a 3,10,000 rupees. How? Because even in the case of income from salary and income from house property, we are taking the profit. Okay, we are deducting the expenditures or all. Okay. Now, let exemption under section 10, clause number 1. Okay, as we have covered in the class, chapter number 3, income. So that is the section number 10, clause number 1. 3,10,000 rupees. It means here we have to take the nil income. The total income, the total taxable income here is 4,80,000 plus 2,50,000, 7,30,000. Then just check that whether there is any kind of reduction in the chapter 6A, like the ATC or anything. Okay, then do that deduction. So it is our taxable income. That is the taxable income for this. Student, I am doing this question about as per the new regime. Okay, you can do the question as per the new regime or as per the old regime, but you have to mention that. Or please read the question carefully. The examiner asks about a particular regime, that if they ask about the new or the old one, you have to do that only. Okay. But in this question, nothing is written, so I have applied the new regime. Now, in the first part, we have computed the total income. Now the partial integration method will be started. That is the step number 1. In step number 1, we have to compute the tax liability. Compute the tax liability of non-agricultural income plus net agricultural income plus net agricultural income. So as per this question, tax liability of how much non-agricultural income is, as we have find it out here, 7,30,000. How much there is a net agricultural income? 3,10,000. Okay, it means tax liability of 10,40,000 rupees. Now let's find out. As we have applied the new tax regime, so I am applying the slab rates of the new one. As per the new one, up to rupees 3 lakhs, tax liability is nil. Then 3,01,000 to 6 lakh, tax liability is 5%. Okay, you all know about this thing. Then 6,01,000 to 9 lakh. As I have told you that on every additional 3 lakh income, there will be additional 5% tax rate. Okay, this is a memory technique. 10%. Then 9,01,000 to 12 lakh, the tax rate shall be 15%. Then 12,01,000 to 15 lakh, the tax liability shall be 20%. Okay. Due to lack of space, I am writing it here. You have to write it on the next page. 15 lakh. See, more than 15 lakh, the tax liability shall be 30%. It means after 20%, there will be this direct slab rate of 30%. Okay, that is a 10% inflation. Now, so up to 3 lakh nil, 3 lakh to 6 lakh, that is 3 lakh. 3 lakhs multiplied by 5%, 15,000. Again 3 lakh into 10%, 30,000. Then 9 lakh to 12 lakh, again the 3 lakh. But we have a point of 10,40,000. It means in our question it is up to this point only, 10,40,000. In our question this doesn't come. Okay. So 9 lakh 1 to 10,40,000, it means 1,40,000. 1,40,000, the tax rate on this point is 15%. Okay. So 1,40,000 multiplied by 15%, 21,000. 21. Okay. Now, it means the total tax liability here is 15,000 plus 30,000 plus 21,000. That is 66,000. That is 66,000. Okay, let's see it. 66,000 here. Okay. I hope screen is visible to all of you. Okay. Now, you might be thinking that, ma'am, please add health and education steps. No, not now. We have to apply some more tips. And in the end of these all the steps in the partial integration method, we will add the health and education steps. Not at this point. Otherwise, the question will get wrong. Okay. Now, the step number 2. Step number 2. Compute the tax liability. Compute the tax liability of net agricultural income plus the basic exemption limit. Now, in this question, what is the basic exemption limit? 3 lakh rupees. Okay. So, it means the tax liability of net agricultural income 3,10,000 plus basic exemption limit 3 lakh. It means tax liability of 6,10,000 rupees. Now find it out. Okay. So again, up to rupees 3 lakh. Then 3 lakh 1 to 6 lakh. 5%. Okay. Then 6 lakh 1 to 6 lakh 10,000. As per our question, 10%. So let's find it out. So student, up to rupees 3 lakh nil, 3 lakh 1 to 6 lakh, that is 3 lakh. 3 lakh into 5%, 15,000. Then 10,000 into 10%, 1,000. So it will come to 16,000. Again, do not add health and education cess at this point. We have to add it on the later point. Okay. Now what we have to do? On the step number 3. Step number 3 is basically the step number 1 minus step number 2. Okay, it means step number 1, the tax liability comes 66,000 minus 16,000 is equals to 50,000. So as per the partial integration method, tax liability till this point is 50,000 rupees. But here is the point, that is, we are applying the new tax regime. And as per the new tax regime, we have to check the rebate under section 87A. So what is the total income? Not as per the slab, actually taxable income that we have calculated at our first stage, this 7,30,000. But up to rupees 7 lakh, there is a rebate under section 87A. Okay, now if we have applied the old tax regime, okay, so we have to check, okay, that if the income is up to rupees 5 lakh, we have to give the rebate under section 87A, but then do not give it. But in the new tax regime, there is a benefit. And what is the benefit? As per the new tax regime, we have to check. Now students, as I already told you in the first session also, that in the case of new tax regime, this checks that find out that what is that particular income, what is that excess additional income due to which rebate is not available for this person. So that income is 7,30,000 is the income and rebate is available till the 7 lakh. Okay, so the additional income due to which rebate is not available is equals to 30,000. Now, if the income was up to rupees 7 lakh, the person have to pay none of the taxes. But now, the income is rupees 7,30,000 and as per the partial integration, the person is paying a tax rate of 50,000 rupees. So actually this is unfair enough. So now, new tax regime says, okay, we are giving you a rebate under section 87A, but of how much amount? The excess amount of the additional income. It means the additional income is 30,000 rupees, but the tax amount is at 50,000 now. So 20,000, the excess amount over the income, that is a 20,000 rupees, is the rebate under section 87A. It means the person have to pay the tax liability here of 30,000 only. Okay, 20,000 rupees is the rebate under section 87A. Okay, now if the surcharge is available to that person, surcharge is applicable to that person, no, because the income is not more than 50 lakh rupees. So we have to add directly health and education cess at the rate 4%, that is 30,000 into 4%, 1,200 rupees So the total tax liability as per this question is 31,200. I hope this question is clear to all of you. Now, if you have any query, you can write in the comment section. Secondly, I have given the link of my WhatsApp group in the description box. You can join that also, okay? So here it is, students. That is. Just wait it out. Okay. So as per the new tax regime, the rebate under section 87A is 20,000 as we have done. Now, student, in the study material, you will find the question as per the normal provisions. It means the old provisions also. So for the practice purpose, you can do this also. I will definitely tell you that do this for the practice purpose, because you don't know, might be ICI gives you the question about the old provision only. Okay, so you have to apply this method. With this question, we have covered all our illustrations of chapter number 1, basic concepts of income tax. Now we are going to do the practical question, that is the back questions, or I can see the test your knowledge questions. Let's do it. Question number 1 is, who is an SSC? Explain. Tell me, students, who is an SSC as per the Income Tax Act 1961? So now, student, as per the question number 1 of the test your knowledge is, who is an SSC? So who is an SSC? An SSC means a person by whom any tax or any kind of payment is done to the Income Tax Act 1961. Okay, so as per the definition, section number 2, clause number 7, SSC means a person by whom any tax or any other sum of money, means like the interest, late fee, penalty, any kind of money is payable under the Income Tax Act 1961. Now, in addition, the SSC terms includes every person in respect of whom any proceeding is started. Now, story. Proceeding or assessment can be done on his own income. Okay, on income or income of any other person in respect of which he is assessable. Like the provision is the provision of clubbing are applicable here. Okay, so income of any other person. Income of other person in respect of him, he is assessable. Now, these points are related to the income. It means 2 points here we have covered. Now, third point here is if any proceeding has been started for the losses. Now, the losses can be of all the person, or similarly of the clubbing provision, like loss of any other person for which he is assessable. Okay. Next point. So we have covered the 4 points here. Next point is if any kind of refund is initiated to that person. Okay, so these all persons will be covered under the category of SSC. Next, student, every person who is not an SSC but who is deemed to be an SSC under this act, or every person who is not an SSC as per the default provision but who is deemed to be an SSC in default, so all these 3 categories will be known as an SSC as per the Income Tax Act 1961. Okay, next question, question number 2 is, state any 4 instances where the income of the previous year is assessable in the previous year itself instead of the assessment year. Now, student, as per the Income Tax Act 1961, general provision of the act is previous year income will be assessed in the assessment year. But basically, there are some provisions, there are some exceptions for this point, for which previous year income is assessable in the previous year itself only. Like, the first one is, if a person is a non-resident and he is doing business of shipping. Okay, shipping business means, first of all, ship can be belong to the person. It means he is an owner of the ship, or the ship is on the charter basis. It means he has hired the ship for his business. Okay. So both can be done here, and he is doing the business of shipping as he is carrying the passengers, livestock like the animals, passengers, livestock, goods from Indian port to any other port. So in that case, assessing officer said, do one thing. The freight paid or payable to tow, freight paid or payable to the non-resident person. Okay, we are assuming that it is a gross revenue of that person, and we are assuming the 7.5% of the freight paid or payable as the income of the non-resident, and we are applying, assessing officer is saying that we are applying the tax on you. It means you have to pay the tax in the previous year itself when you are leaving our Indian port. Okay, or if he is not doing this, he have to, if he assessee have to do a satisfactory arrangement that, okay, government, you will got your tax. So come on this point. The income on a SSC for a previous year is charged to previous year assessment year, but there are some exceptions. The first exception is where a ship belonging to or chartered by a non-resident carries passengers, livestock, mail or goods shipped at a port in India. The ship is allowed to leave the Indian port only when the tax has been paid or the satisfactory arrangement has been made. Okay, and now you all know that how much tax the person have to pay. That is the 7. Income is assumed that 7.5% of the freight paid are payable, and the person have to pay the tax on that income, that assumed income only. Second is students, if a person is leaving India, it means the person is going to another country and assessing officers assessing where it appears to the assessing officer that this person is not coming to India in any shorter period. So he can say that okay, you can go outside India, but before leaving the India, you have to pay the taxes on your income. Okay. So it basically depends upon the assessing officer, where it appears to the assessing officer like this thing, like the scenario that the person is not coming to India or he has no present intentions to coming to India, he can apply this provision, otherwise not. Third point is, if an AOP or BOI, AOP or BOI means association of persons or body of individual, it is formed or established for a particular purpose or for a particular event, and that particular purpose or event has been completed. Okay, now they know that now these persons are going to dissolve that AOP or BOI. So assessing officer can make the assessment of that person in the previous year itself, that okay, as you are dissolving it, so just pay the taxes to us. Okay, now in the current assessment year means the year which is following, like at this time the current assessment year means the previous year 24-25. Okay, and as we are doing this for the previous year 23-24, so they are assuming the current assessment year as the previous year 23-24. Okay, during the current assessment year, if it appears to the assessing officer that a person is actually charging, selling, disposing of any property to any other person, and the main motive for transferring that property to any other person, to transferring the tax liability on the different person. Okay, so if assessing officer got to know about this, he can say, just wait. Before transferring, you have to pay the tax liability directly to us. Okay, you can't transfer your tax liability to any other person. Now, the fifth one is where any business or profession is going to discontinue in the assessment year. So the assessing officer can definitely tell. If actually it is upon the discretion of the assessing officer. If it appears to the AO that the person is discontinue this business or profession, so they can say, okay, just give the tax up to the date of dissolution to us. Okay. So these are the 5 points where the previous year income will be charged in the previous year itself, not in the assessment year. Question number 3, whether the income derived from saplings or seedlings grown in a nursery is taxable under the Income Tax Act 1961. The answer is no. Actually, you can't write directly the no. You have to write the income derived from the saplings or seedlings grown in a nursery is exempted under Income Tax Act 1961 because it comes in the category of the agricultural income. Okay. Question number 4, what are the 2 schools of Hindu law? That is Daya Bhaga and Mitakshara, and where are they prevalent? So students, as we know, Daya Bhaga prevalent in the state of West Bengal and Assam, and Mitakshara is prevailing in the whole of the country except the West Bengal and Assam. Explain. You can explain these. Okay. I'm not actually spending the time on the theoretical questions which you already know. I'm just giving you the hint here of that theoretical question so that we can cover our entire practical questions in this YouTube batch only. Okay. But in case if you have any confusion about any question, you can directly write in the comment section. I also mentioned the difference between the 2 schools of Hindu law. Okay, so the first difference is about the prevailing. Second is about the rule. That in the case of Daya Bhaga, that in the case of Mitakshara, the person got the co-personary rights as the birth of that person. Okay, but not in the case of Daya Bhaga. Question number 5, what is the difference between an AOP or BOI? Okay, the complete answer has been written in the ICAR study material, so just do it from here. We have already covered it in the class so many times. Okay, so not any kind of difficult question. I am not covering it here. Question number 6. Now students, the next question is illustration number 6. Okay, that is the question number 6. Mr. Sumit, a resident Indian, a resident Indian, earns income of rupees 15 lakhs from sale of rubber manufactured from latex obtained from rubber plants grown by him in India. And it is what is actually happening here, that there is a person, Mr. Sumit, who is a resident Indian. Okay, so the reservation status here. Now, he earns income of rupees 15 lakhs, from which source he have grown some rubber plants in India, and from that rubber plant he got the latex, and now from that latex he got the rubber, and he sold the rubber in the Indian market. Okay. Now the next part is, and he got the rupees 20 lakh income from sale of rubber manufactured from latex obtained from rubber plants grown by him in Malaysia. What would be his business income? Now student, for this particular question that is about the rubber plant, we have a ratio, and the ratio is the 65:35, that whenever the question is about the rubber plants, okay, so on the profit, that is on the income, the ratio shall be 65:35. It means 65% will be the agricultural income and the 35% will be the business income. So as in this question, we have 2 points, particularly the rubber plants grown by him in India, and the income got from that is 15 lakh rupees from selling of rubber, and from the plants which have grown in Malaysia, he got an income of 20 lakh rupees. Okay, we have to find out the business income. So here the business income shall be, in the case of 15 lakh, as the rubber plants have been grown in India, so ratio will be applied here. It means 15 lakh into 35%. And in the case of rubber plant which have grown in Malaysia, he is not going to get any benefit. Okay, you are growing the plants in another country and our government will give you the benefit. That is not going to happen actually. So here students, the 20 lakh will be the business income. Okay, so the total business income will be 15 lakh into 35%. That is 5,25,000 rupees. Plus from the rubber plants which have grown in Malaysia, 20 lakh rupees. So the total business income for the assessment year 24-25 shall be the 25,25,000 rupees. Okay, that is 20 lakh plus 5,25,000. I hope the question is clear to you all. If you got any kind of query, you can definitely tell me. Okay. Now the next question is illustration number 7. But before doing that question, please students do the comments and tell me that how much you are liking the practical sessions here. Okay. So students, now the next question is that the question number 7. Mr. Raja, a resident Indian, earns income of rupees 10 lakhs from sale of coffee grown and cured in India. The main point here that the Mr. Raja, who is a resident Indian, he is earning income, but he is doing the 2 processes for the coffee. First is growing the coffee and second is curing the coffee. Okay. Now, his friend Mr. Shyam, a resident Indian, earns income of rupees 20 lakhs from sale of coffee grown, cured, roasted and grounded by him. It means he is doing, the friend that is Mr. Shyam is doing the 4 processes here. He is doing the coffee growing, curing, roasting and grounding. Now students, I have told you in the class that if a person is doing the 2 processes, that is growing and curing the coffee, it means the ratio here for the business income is to agricultural income shall be 25:75. But irrespective of this fact, if the person is growing, curing, roasting, grinding, it means he is doing all the processes for the coffee. So the ratio here shall be business is to agriculture, it shall be 40:60%. Okay, so here we have to apply these ratios actually. Now student, in this case, that is from the 10 lakh. From the 10 lakh, the business income shall be 25%, that is 25:75. So 2,50,000 will be the business income. And in the case of 20 lakh, the business income will be the 40%. That is 8 lakh rupees. 20 lakh into 40% is equals to 8 lakh. Okay, I hope the doubts are clear to all of you. In case of any query, you can definitely ask me. Question number 8. The JNHUF in Assam comprises of Mr. Suresh Jain, his wife Mrs. Sapna Jain, his son Mr. Sarthak Jain, DIL Mrs. Preeti Jain and daughter Mrs. Seema Jain, and an unmarried brother Mr. Preetam Jain. Which of the members of the HUF eligible for co-partnership right? So students, in the case of Assam, if we are talking about the co-partnership right or HUF, so which school shall be applicable in the state of Assam? So in this case, the JNHUF family, which is residing in the Assam, So, Daya Bhaga law of school will be applicable on these persons, and in the case of Daya Bhaga, all the family members are not the part, are not getting the co-pastoral rights till the head of the family is living. So, in this case, only two persons will get the co-pastoral right. First of all, the person that is the Mr. Suresh Jain and his unmarried brother, that is the Mr. Preetham Jain. Okay, two of them will get the co-pastoral rights, not any other than them. Now, ma'am, in case if the brother is married, question, the answer will be same for sure. That is the Suresh Jain and the brother Preetham Jain will get the co-pastoral rights, not any other person from them. Question number 9. Compute the tax liability under default tax regime. Default tax regime means we are asking you about the new tax regime of Mr. Kashyap, age 35, having total income of 51,75,000 per assessment year 24-25. Assume that his total income comprises of salary income, income from HP and interest on FD. Basically, students, if a person is earning an income of more than rupees 50 lakh, so here the question of the point of surcharge will be applicable in this case. Okay. Now let's do the question. So here's the solution. Now students, in the case if first of all it is a default tax regime, it means a new tax regime will be applicable in this case. So the ratio will be up to rupees 3 lakh. Tax rate shall be nil. Okay. 3 lakh to 6 lakh 5%, that is 15,000. 6 lakh 1 to 9 lakh 10%, 30,000. Then 9 lakh 1 to 12 lakh additional 3 lakh rupees, additional 5% tax, 15%. So 3 lakh into 15% is equals to 45,000. Next, 12 lakh 1 to 15 lakh 20%, 60,000. Then more than 15 lakh, the tax rate shall be flat 30%. So it means 15 lakh 1 to 51 lakh 75,000, 30%. So the tax rate 11 lakh 2,500. Total tax here comes as 12 lakh 52,500. Now, if a person is getting an income of more than 50 lakhs, so how much surcharge rate shall be applicable in this case? 10%. And the surcharge rate shall be applicable, shall be leviable on the tax amount. Okay, not any other this. So on this 11 lakh 2,000. Now, so students, here the total amount is, total taxable amount here is, total tax liability 12 lakh 52,500 on this thing. Just quit. Yeah. So on this 12 lakh 52,500, 10% shall be the surcharge rate. That is 1 lakh 25,250. The total here is 13 lakh 77,750. Now here is this twist. Students, in the case of surcharge, they are saying why surcharge is applicable, because the income is more than rupees 50 lakh. Am I right? Okay. Now we have to check. It is income tax is saying it should not be. It must not happen. It must not be happening. Any unfair thing is not happening. They are saying it must not be happening that they are earning an income of an excess income of 1,75,000, due to which they are paying the surcharge. So the tax amount should not be more than this. It means, student, what we have to do is we have to check that if that person was earning an income of 50 lakh rupees. So how much tax that person was paying? Now the person is earning 51,75,000. It means an excess income of 1,75,000. We have to compare these two things, that how much now that person is going to pay the tax. So in the case of 51,75,000, as we have seen, okay, tax is 13,77,500. 13,77,500. This is the total tax liability if the person is earning 51,75,000 rupees. But if the person was earning 50 lakh, so the tax liability was, now let's calculate it, up to 3 lakh nil, then 3 lakh to 6 lakh, 3 lakh 1 to 6 lakh, that is, okay, the tax liability was 15,000, that is a 5%, then 6 lakh 1 to 9 lakh, 10% rate, that is 30,000, then 9 lakh 1 to 12 lakh, that is again an additional 3 lakh rupees. So 5%, 10%, 15%, it means 45,000. Then students, 12 lakh 1 to 15 lakh, the tax rate was 20%, so 60,000 rupees. Okay, then more than 15 lakh, the tax rate will be 30%. Now, how much is more than 15 lakh in this question? As the total income is 50 lakh, we are comparing it with 50 lakh. So 50 lakhs minus on the 15 lakh we have already levied the tax 35 lakh. 35 lakh into 30%. It is 10 lakh 50,000. Write it down there. 10 lakh 50,000. Okay. Now calculate the total tax. 15,000 plus 30,000 plus 45,000 plus 60,000 plus 10 lakh 50,000. It is 12 lakh rupees. 12 lakh. It means they are saying if the person was earning 50 lakh rupees up to rupees 50 lakhs, the person was paying the taxes of rupees 12 lakh. But now, because the person is earning an income of 151 lakh 75,000, he is paying an additional tax liability. That is, he is paying total tax liability 13 lakh 77,500. Now compare this additional one. Students, in this case, health and education cess is not going to add right now. We will add it on the later point. Okay. Now students, it means if we compare it, so the person is earning an additional income of 1,50,000, 1,75,000. Okay, because now he's earning an income of 51,75,000, but he's paying an additional tax of 13,77,500 current tax minus comparable tax 12 lakh. So he is paying actually an additional tax of 1,77,500. Do you think it is fair that the person is earning an additional income of 1,75,000, but he is paying an additional tax of 1,77,500? So they said, just do one thing. How much additional tax? How much unfair tax he is paying? 2,500 now. So this will be available as marginal relief. Okay, it means the person have to pay now. Just wait, students. Okay. That is 2,500 shall be the marginal relief. Just 2,500 shall be the marginal relief. Okay, I hope the screen is visible. The screen is clear now. Here it is. Okay. Now, it means now the person have to pay the total tax liability of 12 lakh, or we can say 13,77,500 minus 2,500. It means now the person have to pay an additional tax liability of 13,77,500 minus 2,500. It means 13,75,000. Okay. So the person have to pay the total tax liability here. In this case, after applying the marginal tax case, he have to pay the 13,75,000 now, and plus the health and education cess, which shall be 4%. That is 13,75,000 multiplied by 4%, 55,000. So total tax liability is 14,30,000. Okay. I hope the question is clear to all of you. Okay. In case students you are getting any kind of query, you can definitely then be. Okay. The next question. Okay. Let's come to the solution also. Just come on this. So it was 13,77,500 minus 12. Okay. That was 1,77,500. Students, by mistake, I have written this figure as 13,77,500, but the actual figure which we have calculated on the calculator was 13,77,750. Okay. So, as per this, the marginal relief will be 250 R. So, it will be 2,500 plus the 250 amount, that is 2,750. Okay, it was 750. So 2,750, the answer is same, that is 13,75,000. Okay, and on this the health and education cess shall be applicable at the rate of 4%. Now, come to the next illustration. This is one of the most important illustration which we have done right now. It can come into examination, there are higher chances for it. Okay, so please, if you have any query, you can definitely ask me out. Now, question number 10. Mr. Agarwal, aged 40 years and a resident in India, has a total income of 6 crore 50 lakh. Again, 6 crore 50 lakh. It means this is a question again of the marginal relief. Comprising LTCG taxable under section 112 of 55 lakh, STCG taxable under section 111 is 65 lakh, and other income of 5 crore 30 lakh. Ma'am, are we going to do this question? Definitely, because it is NTCG, STCG, which have different way of doing. Okay, now let's do it. So students, in this case, Mr. Agarwal, aged 40 years, has a total income of 6 crore 50 lakh, comprising LTCG of 55 lakh. It means, students, on 55 lakh, tax shall be leviable at 20%. Okay, because the capital gain LTCG rate 20%. So 55 lakh into 20%. 55 lakh into 20%. It comes to 11 lakh. Okay, so the tax liability here is 11 lakh rupees for the LTCG under section 112. Now on the next, that is the STCG, 65 lakh. So students on STCG under section 111A, because it is given that it is under section 111A, so 15% tax rate shall be applicable. If it was not given, so it will be the normal slab rate. Okay, so 65 lakh multiplied by 15%. 65 lakh multiplied by 15%, 9,75,000. So next tax liability is 9,75,000. Let's do this question in a proper way. Okay, solution. So on LTCG, tax liability is 11 lakh rupees as we have calculated. On STCG under section 111A, tax liability is 9,75,000. So total it is 20,75,000. Okay, next. Now on income of the balance income, on income of rupees, let's find out the income, the balance income, that is 5 crore 30 lakhs. Let's find out the tax liability. On income of rupees 5 crore 30 lakh, 5 crore 30 lakh, the tax liability shall be up to rupees 3 lakh, nil. Next, 3 to 6 lakh, that is the 5%, so tax liability 15,000. Then 6 to 9 lakh, 10%, 30,000. I am writing it directly here now. Next, 45,000. Next student, so it is 5, 10, 15. Then 20%, that is the 60,000 rupees. Next, more than rupees 15 lakh, the tax liability shall be flat, that is the 30%. So it means in the 5 crore 30 lakh on total income, on 15 lakh we have applied the tax rate, so 5 crore 15 lakh. The balance is 5 crore 15 lakh. On 5 crore 15 lakh, the tax liability shall be 30%. So 5 crore 15 lakh, tax liability 30%. So it comes to 1 crore 54 lakh 50,000. 1 crore 54 lakh 50,000. So the total tax liability here is, let's calculate it, plus 15,000 plus 30,000 plus 45,000 plus 60,000. 1 crore 56 lakh. Now, can anyone tell me the surcharge rate for this? Now students, we know that in the case of surcharge, if the income is exceeding rupees 2 crore, excluding this special rate, that is LTCG under section 112, STCG under section 111A, so the surcharge rate in this case is 25%, so add surcharge here. Surcharge 25%. Okay, so multiply by 25%, that is 39 lakh. 39 lakh. Okay, so the total is 1 crore 95 lakhs. Now, on this, the tax liability of this LTCG, what shall be the surcharge rate? On this, surcharge rate shall be the 15%, because in this case, on the LTCG, STCG, all the parts, and if the other income is exceeding the 2 crore, so the surcharge rate is 15%. Apply the surcharge rate. 20,75,000 multiplied by 15%. It's 3,11,250. Total tax liability 20,75,000 plus 15%. So 23,86,250. So now the total tax liability is 23,86,250 plus 1 crore 95 lakhs. 1 crore 95 lakhs. It comes to 2 crore 18 lakh 86,250 rupees. Okay, so the total tax liability till this point is this. Now the point is, now let's come on this. It is 2 crore 18 lakh 86,250. Now add the health and education cess on this point, that is the 4%. So multiply it by 4%. 8,75,450 rupees. Okay, so the total tax liability 2 crore 27,61,700. Okay, so this is the actual question, this is the actual solution. But if examiner asks you about that, do this question as per the old tax regime, so you have to apply the normal tax slab. So this is as per the normal provision. Do this as your homework. In case of any query, you can definitely ask me out. Okay. Now, one point. Now, why marginal release is not applicable here? Student, the reason be, this surcharge is applicable in the case if the income is exceeding 2 crore and this income is approximately 6 crore 30 lakh rupees. Now, so we know as a profession now, there's no chance of marginal relief because the additional amount is so much exceeding. So do not waste your time by calculating your marginal relief in these type of questions. Okay. Now, next is illustration number 11. So students, illustration number 11 is your homework. This is the same as we have done right now. Only the amounts are changed. Only the amounts are different. In case of any question, please asking in my WhatsApp group. The link of that is given in the description below, or you can ask in the comment section also. Okay. Now, with this question, we have completed our chapter number 1. Tomorrow we will complete the chapter number 2, that is a residential status chapter. So I hope you all are going to join the tomorrow's class. In case of any feedback, please let me know. Thank you. Have a nice day.